spiritual reader and fortune teller who specializes on horoscope, fortune telling, psychic readings, and spiritual guides. With over 30 years of experience, she has been touching lives positively, bringing hope to the broken, healings to the depressed, and answers to the questions about nature. You can call Sister Dubong on 718-253-7273. The number again, 718-253-7273. Or you can also come to 1752 Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn in New York. 1752 Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn, New York.
You're listening to King and Queen Radio. King and Queen Radio.
Real sound, no faking. Oh, so beautiful. Yeah. Are you feeling down today? And you wanna get yourself happy? Are you feeling sad today? Are you feeling down today? And you wanna get yourself happy? Are you feeling sad today? Tune in to 93.5 King and Queen Radio. You need best songs and shows on your radio. Sister Dobong shows every day from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Yeah, don't give up. Just tune into your radio. Every Monday, the we go Jamaican and African show from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Oh, tune into King and Queen Radio, where you will feel inside. King and Queen Radio, where no one to talk to. King and Queen Radio. Yeah, 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 yeah. King and Queen Radio. Don't let your morning so boring. King and Queen Radio. Tune into your best station. King and Queen Radio. Your best music, best shows. King and Queen Radio. You need a beautiful Monday, yeah. King and Queen Radio. Every Wednesday, 12:20 in the countdown. Every Tuesday to Thursday, King and Queen with arts and music. Your jazz music every day, from 1 a.m. to 3 p.m. Country music every day, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Yeah, Jamaican music every Monday to Saturday. Special life music from Caliban, Africa. Every Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. International reggae dancehall every day, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The best online radio. From New York, we take it worldwide, yeah. Tune into King and Queen Radio, where you will feel inside. King and Queen Radio, where no one to talk to. King and Queen Radio. Yeah, 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 yeah. King and Queen Radio. Don't let your morning so boring. King and Queen Radio. Tune into your best station. King and Queen Radio. Your best music, best shows. King and Queen Radio. You need a beautiful Monday, yeah. King and Queen Radio. From Monday to Mondays. Smokes mix in the kitchen.
King and Queen Radio.
Give me time and your space. Make a lot for the place. I don't got ever done for your love. I give you all that you dream of. I'm more than a good, she nice.
Queen Radio.
She give me all the melody and vibes. I'm more than a good, she nice. Oh, give me that loving,
Queen Radio.
yeah, yeah. Give me that loving, that loving, that loving, yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me that loving, yeah, yeah. Give me that loving, give me that loving, yeah, yeah. Some of them are young, some of them are snitching. She be my melody, I've been searching. She's the fine girl I've been searching for, yeah, yeah.
I'm out there, Eminado. She fine past 3, mommy, what now? Your waist personality, they cause kata kata. Oh, I'm tempting to touch your body, though. If you don't know, you gon' know.
Loving you is all I want to do. Make you come turn me to moo.
Oh, I'ma get shake it like that. start from the jaji. Come rotate it for your zaddy. Black drop top Maserati. I'ma go shake it like that though, like a dad from the zaddy. Come rotate it for your zaddy. Black drop top Maserati. Give me that loving, give me that love, that loving, yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me that loving, yeah, yeah. Give me that loving, give me that loving, yeah, yeah. Give me that man, your select, call up for your mind. Select, Christine, look at you. Mama,
You're listening to King and Queen Radio.
Give me that love, yeah.
King and Queen Radio.
Yo, Sadie, another one classic.
King and Queen Radio.
Trigger fire. Yeah, yeah. Other you, don't make me leave me alone. Other you, I the feel that you wear, you don't make me roll up. And every day and every time you worry me, so you want to be with me. Yeah, say me throw a face, yeah, me throw a face. Please don't leave me lonely, me throw a face, yeah, me throw a face. Yeah, me throw a face, me throw a face. Now call it, me throw a face, yeah, me throw a face. Watch out now, yeah. Slide me up on me DM now. See I love the way me sing me song. She say I be real dada, and she ready for a link up the party. Every day so we sign up the party. Yo, she a bubble up for me and make me feel like a kid. Me throw a face, yeah, me throw a face. I know you will, please don't leave me lonely. Yeah. Me throw a face, yeah, me throw a face. Now call it me throw a face, yeah. Why, let me tell you one thing, girl. She like the one me singing me song, and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram. Oh na. Yeah. I'm in love with your shape. I'm in love with everything you do that make me crazy. Scene, I'm in love with your shape. I'm in love with everything they do will make me crazy. Yeah. Shake that body, girl. Get that body, girl. Rock that body, girl. Get me that body, girl. Me love the way you make me cry. Ever since you came to my life,
You're listening
you
to
are
King and Queen
mine.
Radio.
I wonder if you get that smile. I found that bust my mind. So don't waste my time, and I call it, yeah. Because I'm in love with you now. Me throw a face, yeah, me throw a face. What's the main guy, me say that, me throw a face. Whoa, yeah. Don't waste my time, me throw a face, me throw a face.
Mefre, good morning Kumasi, good morning Lagos, good morning West Africa. It's a bright new week, it's a bright new Monday night, which is already Tuesday morning here in Africa. And of course, we are here again with another great episode of the Monday Night Show. And of course, it's you know how we do it. Monday Night Show is always ever blazing. And on the music console right now, we just listened to Mefre on Form by Trigger Fire, a King and Queen radio artist, and an ever blazing creativity style of music out there. We want to say a big good morning and a great shout out to all our beautiful listeners all over the world. We have come with another great package of the Monday Night Show. How are you feeling today? How are your plans for the week? How is your family? We hope that you're all doing great, and today promises to be different. Of course, the CEO is getting ready to spark up the show, and of course, just like we always do, it's always great to have you guys today. So we hope that it's gonna be super great tonight. I mean, this morning with you all over the world. It's maybe night in other places, it's maybe evening in other countries, it may be morning in other countries, especially in West Africa, and it's all good.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the King and Queen Radio, Brooklyn Station, Sister DeBong, and we are live in Africa. And I just
Yeah.
want to say a good morning. I know you're good and waking up now and full of energy. I know
Yeah.
you're feeling good. I just want to say a good morning to the team here.
Morning.
Good
Morning.
morning, Lot.
Yeah.
Good morning, Pop Mark. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
all the teams here, the
Yeah.
artists, and everybody here. We
Yeah.
have a great show this morning for you. I just enjoyed this evening. We had a great evening. The show was excellent, and we just really enjoyed ourselves. I
Yeah.
mean, it couldn't have been no better show, and that's why you have to tune in every Monday night from 9 to 3 a.m. And we start off with our DJ, our number one DJ on WVIP
Yeah.
93.5 FM in America, and you know that it's Tony Blenton.
Yeah.
And also we got from Africa our
Yeah.
number one DJ, and that's DJ Pop Mop
Yeah.
from Nigeria. And
Yeah.
boy, the two of them in the one night just keep us jumping, and we don't know when to start. Right, Lot? And
Yeah.
me and you
Sure.
hosting the show, we just
Sure.
have a great time. I
Yeah.
just love when I come on with you. You just full of energy, and you
Thank
got
you.
so much knowledge. I mean, you really put a lot of research in to know
Thank you.
things what you already know, but
Thank you.
you even know it better when you research it. So we want to thank you a lot for being here with us this morning. You're looking
Welcome.
all bright and nice and dressed. I like that suit and that tie you're wearing, boy. That
Thank
is
you.
excellent. You are
Thank you.
something else. Well, the
Yeah.
team back there in New York, we leave you down because we here
Yeah.
in Nigeria. We had a good show. We had a great time,
Yeah.
and the music was excellent. I couldn't stop jumping. And boy, the topics we discussed. You could go back, folks, and check out what we did from 9 p.m. up to now in Nigeria is 5 a.m. in the morning plus. So, hey, we just got so much topics and so many things we want to talk about. Lot, it's
Yeah.
just so much going on here in Nigeria.
Sure.
We had a lot of rain. I wonder
Yeah.
that rain, it's good for the crops here in
Mm.
Nigeria. What you
Yes.
think is going to be produced more here in Nigeria that's going to sell abroad?
Yeah.
And tell us what's going on, Lot. How you feeling? And Pop Mark, I know you're doing good. I know the music is jumping already. You got me. Hey, you waking me back up from my little break. I didn't even get a break. This show just moving so fast. Pat
Yeah.
Bark, I want to thank you for such great music. And of course, we got all our artists from David Brown all the way to Smoke Kitchen, all the way to Jolly Boy, Boy Y. And we got, from Ghana, we just rocking, and he
Trigger
just rocking
fire.
our soul over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Trigger Fire.
Yeah.
Yes, Trigger Fire. And I will got to say shout out there, Sugar Ice. Sometimes it's like I forget you, but I never forget you because you're the big promoter. Big up
Yeah.
to Sugar Ice out there, and our other artists, them. Big up to you too as well. And we got plenty more artists coming on. So you
Yeah.
folks better hurry up and join the King and Queen Radio because we're excited. We just don't know what to do with ourselves because we having a great time. And this morning I'm really in the energy. I mean, I'm talking like 100 miles an hour because you know what? I just couldn't wait to get on this show. Last
Yeah.
week we had the little glitches here and there on the side in New York City, but you know what? African just took over and took over. And I tell you, the team there say, "Oh no, we just made a mistake. Africa go outdo us." I said, "No, we all in one. Africa and New York, we're all family. So
Yeah,
we're not competing. We're all family.
we
King and
won.
Queen Radio, BrooklynStation.com, and me, SisterTheBone.com. And don't forget it, I got a YouTube, and on the YouTube you will find prayers and different things to make you feel good. You need to listen, and guess what? We have that great music on there, and who helped me with that great music is right here, my host, La.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
music is fantastic. You
yeah,
need to listen to and go and get help, because when you down and out and feeling bad, you could go to Sister Dubang YouTube channel, and it's going to strengthen you up. You're going to enjoy what you hear. So go and tell your friends about Sister Dubang YouTube channel. And we just got so much lot. I could talk all day and all night. Lot, it's a big thing going on. We need to talk about this kidnapping, because that's what I talked about here in America, kidnapping. So
yeah,
what is there kidnapping still going on in Africa? Tell
yeah.
us a little bit about what you may know.
Okay, okay. This is a very great topic, and of course, a good question. And I think this is a very sensitive topic as well, because the whole world is, experiencing what Nigeria is experiencing in terms of kidnapping and human trafficking. In general, the world has been, um, you know, suffering this issue of kidnapping globally. It's a global thing. So Nigeria is ranked among the kidnapping hotspots of the world. Over 3,000 people were kidnapped in Nigeria in the half of 2021 alone. And the number index is growing to 2022 down to 2023. And there was this top ranking back in the days, and in Turkey has the highest kidnapping rate in the whole world, with 42.669, that's the based on research, per 100,000 people in a year. So it has been something that has been people have been kind of neglecting, but yet it is very, very important for people to know this. So back in the days, it was just a few years ago, not even long, Turkey was leading as the country with the highest rate of kidnapping, followed by Lebanon, then Kuwait, and then Canada came in. So these are serious problems. This is all over the world, and coming down to the continents of Africa, South Africa and Nigeria are the two leading countries. They have, South Africa is, remain it is one of the countries that has the main hotspot on the African continent in as of 2022 last year in the issue of kidnapping. While ransom-related kidnapping only make up to 5% of all the abductions in the country, that is in South Africa, as most incidents are linked to robbery and hijacking, the number of cases has been increasing at alarming rates. So that is, for South Africa. Now in Nigeria, the case for Nigeria is usually, kidnapping back in the day started in Nigeria in the southern part of Nigeria. Southern part of Nigeria is the Delta State, Port Harcourt, Bayelsa State, Akwa Ibom, all the southern parts, Ebonyi states, all those places are the southern. Kidnapping was predominantly in that side, and then the southwestern Nigeria, which is the Lagos, Ibadan, Oyo, Abeokuta, Ogun, all the state, Oshun, Ondo, all these southwestern states. And then just recently, some 5 years ago, the northern parts of Nigeria also sparked the issue of kidnapping. So especially by the terrorist group Boko Haram, they've been kidnapping innocent people. I think some not even up to 10 years ago, not up to 10 years, I think some few years ago, Boko Haram kidnapped over 200 schoolgirls in Borno State, and it's one of the largest kidnapping that has been done in Nigeria so far. So good. So this is something for us to pay attention to, and I think we're calling on the federal government to hearken to the voice of the people, because Nigerians don't actually feel safe. You can't go to your places of work, your places of your other places of where you go to and have your business taken care of. You don't actually feel safe, because somehow, some way, Nigerian government is not putting so much necessary measures in caring for the Nigerian citizens, or an average common man in Nigeria. So Nigerians don't usually feel safe, and the case of these kidnappings are growing. Usually these kidnappers will kidnap people and demand a ransom of money, like in millions. They will say bring $10,000, $5,000, $20,000, and they will demand for money. They will kidnap a loved one of yours, and then they will threaten you to death. They will threaten you on phone. They will call you, hey, we have your loved one, we have so person, you have to bring us the money before you pick this person. And then at an unverified location, they will give you a location. You can't they will not allow you to call any security agents or the police or the cops or the soldiers or anything. You will not make any contact with anybody. You go and drop the money before you get your loved ones. This has been the same pattern of kidnapping that has going on, and nothing. I think just few out of 100%, I think it's just, I would say 20 to 30% of these people that have been kidnapped. And anytime you call on the authorities and the security agencies and local authorities, the response is usually very minimal in terms of the safety of Nigerians. Before they respond to you, it's usually at the aftermath. It's usually at the aftermath of what happened. Before you see them come, they will tell you to go and write a statement after you've been threatened, beaten, and then being duped again. You collect your money, and sometimes they might even kill the hostages. They might take somebody from you, and then you don't actually feel you're safe as a Nigerian. So it's a lot to be called a Nigerian. Kidnappers will collect 650 million as a ransom in 1 year in Nigeria as of August 2022. That was what happened last year. A total of 650 million naira was collected as ransom in 1 year. That was a kidnapping index report that has been taken. 564 people were killed as the abducted hostages in terms of kidnapping, and the rest of them were returned after the kidnappers were compensated. So this is a very serious problem, and I'm very happy that you're bringing this, because Nigerians have been suffering this for a very long time. In fact, there are some places in Nigeria where kidnapping is a business, and the Nigerian local authorities cannot do anything, because most of these guys are armed. They are well armed, and you wonder how they get and acquire some of these weapons. So we as Nigerian citizens, and in Africa generally, I think the government need to prioritize the issue of security, because if a leader is during the presidential elections, the campaigns, most of these presidential candidates will come out and say they have their 5 agendas, 10 point agendas, and when they begin to mention security, they just mention it out, but they don't actually implement it. Even after elections, even if they are being elected, they will just make some flimsy speeches, and then so we are talking as activists. We are not anti-government, but we are calling on the government to make sure that they live by their words, because it is the people, the masses are looking up to the government. Who else would the people look up to? It is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people, and that's the real definition of democracy. And except if we are practicing something else, people need to be safe. People need to be protected at all costs, because if the government don't prioritize the people, what else would the government prioritize? So I think this is a very delicate situation. You can call us on 718-253-7273. Of course, you can add +1 to the number from anywhere in the world. You'll be able to join this great conversation on the issue of kidnappings. We would love to hear your opinions, guys. If you're out there listening to us from the city of Lagos, Abuja, Akwa Ibom, Delta State, Ibadan, Calabar, any other place you are listening to us right now, the Bakassi Peninsula, if you're listening to us right now from Kumasi, from Accra, all over the world, India, Pakistan, Jamaica, Caribbean islands, Northern South America, all over the world. This is a great show. And how is the kidnapping index in your own country, in your own very regions? We would like to hear that, and how the responses in those areas. Please, you can call us on +1 718 253 7273. If the phone cost is very cost for you in your area, you can go ahead and drop us a text message on the social media platforms. Anytime we go live, like you're listening to us right now, the social media platforms are live. Then you'll be able to drop any comments, and then we'll read them out for you, and then we'll call you on a name, and then you can also not forget to send your shout out to your loved ones, and then we'll be able to read them out. So it's one of those things that people don't hardly talk about, but it's one of those things. Please, we'd love to hear your opinions. Today being a great day, we'd love to hear your opinions. We hope that you're having a great time. A big shout out to our listeners out there in the regions of Obalende. You're going to your places of work. Please don't forget, the hard times and tough times never last. The situation in the country is something that I think some places have experienced harder than this. So we need to brace up and, face up as citizens of this country. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So let's enjoy some songs, and then we'll come back and continue with the show.
So make it come outside to baby, make we enjoy. So many things we gotta do, baby. You make my world go round. You put the fire in my eyes, so shawty, burning motion. And I love you, control myself again. Boy, you tell me your location. Only 5 minutes, baby, I get there. Boy, you tell me your location. Only 5 minutes, baby, I get there. You make us see a potential. All I want is to make you my baby. You make us see a potential. All I want is to make you my baby.
King and Queen Radio.
Show me jajali, show me say you love me, give me everything. Baby, no do me dirty. You know the vibe you lose it. If I ever lose you, girl, I take hold me down. And if we move for life, yeah, we got it. Be careful now. All of the talks, we fuck up the vibes. Now me be your man. Now you be my girl and I'm proud of your mind. Sweet love way you give me, girl, I swear say now for your hand. I put my life till the end. I swear say it be. Oh my child, come around. Now you they make me come better. Since I set my eyes on you, now you they make me feel like complete humanity. Because of you, I'm a complete humanity. Yalla yalla.
Slowly taking over, but with you on no other. Now you I want for my life. Nobody else will be lie. Got you for life, want you tonight. Sure you know no be lie. And you scatter my head today, scatter my head all night. You say baby mark for me now, baby mark for me now. Baby girl you too fine, baby mark for me now. You say baby mark for me now, baby mark for me now. My own Malita.
Oh my child, come around. Now you they make me come better. Since I set my eyes on you, now you they make me feel like complete humanity. Because of you, I'm a complete humanity. Yalla yalla.
You're listening to King and Queen Radio. You're listening to King and Queen Radio.
Giving more love, giving
Radio.
Words you left into the light, with the sun shining bright ahead, and I knew he was real. I knew he was real. He spoke to me so powerfully. With that, amen.
You're listening to King and Queen Radio.
DJ Podmax.
Batch for life, batch forever, got to come out of walk answer G records to get me on the motor block. The motor block.
When I show them lights, them put on their back, them go show me dark. I can never lie, put it on my cause in my future bright, but they go see that. Okay. It is very bad, look and well, that is God. She can never lie, I can treat her well, my lover. She can never lie, treat her well, my lover. She can never lie, treat her well.
Anything I want, I'm gonna get. Put me on the spot, you know be threat, I know the fear. I'm the fearless nigga that you heard about. Then, now I'm forever, and amigo dent. Them, give them everything they said I'm blessed to the mood, now you we count on. Take us to the promised land we bank on. Shout hallelujah, brother, doing say my resume. Did this like an Israelite? They wrong, all my brothers then be full of come. Sharper than a porcupine, defending the predator. Akuruba, my baby give me big kuruba. She dey laugh for my yard, I dey find kaluba. Make her feel a more. Magazine, I dey fire like Bakuruba. My baby give me the kuruba. She dey laugh for my yard, I dey find kaluba. I say make her feel a more. Magazine, I dey fire like that. When I show them lights, them put on their back, they go show me that. I can never lie, put it on my notes. My future lies, but they go see that.
This song about your girl, then it is what it is. I really run her with an offices. It is what it is. Maybe I lies, they should legalize. If you feel wine, then I realize as you look wise, no they follow lies, body no go die. With the big boys and we outside, get me like ice and we outside. They make a must shine, kill me must wine. When she go down, do like ice spice. She like to party late, I don't castigate, I just facilitate, her voice activate, congratulate, her life appreciate, it take her happy repeat, take her back to me place, we start to fornicate, her legs start to the shake, phone start to vibrate, her boyfriend is suspect, I tell assassinate, her things come bubble later, Maybe I lies, they should legalize, if you feel wine, then I realize, as you look wise, no they follow lies, but you no go die, with the big boys.
Wow, listening to you a lot, things have really not changed. Even in America, wherever it's at, it's all the same criminal and all the same crime. You just can't blame one country because I can say it everywhere, it's the same everywhere. Where there are people, it's going to be the same crime. So much. But so much technology is coming out live. Did you know I got so much discussion? What do you feel about all this new technology? Do you feel it's going to destroy countries like Africa because it's so advanced and they're not used to it? Do you think it's going to lead them backwards that they're not going to want to accept the new technologies and the new changes. Will Africa pick up on the changes? Can't that destroy the culture of the people? Too much modern technology and too much moving ahead. Things that what people used to do or used to doing will be taken away from them through technology. What do you feel about Africa? Do you think it would change Africa? Will it make Africa better to lose their culture, their ways through modern technology? Because as modern technology come in also with religions and Christianity and all the rest, it can change things. Do you think also technology can change the belief of the people, belief in religion and the things they believe in? Lord, please help me, because this is a subject that I'm very concerned, because things are moving so rapidly. They can put your brain inside of a computer and have it operating like a human. Yes, there's a technology like that. So let's get into this modern technology, how they bringing the dead alive. We wondering in the past, did they do these same technology and they disappeared with them so man would know the real truth about a lot of things?
Okay, this is also an important topic for Africa and the whole world at large, because with the recent technology innovations all over the world, I think Africa is not left behind, because Africa is catching up with the modern and latest technology in the world globally. Because in the tech world, there are many business associates and there are many business people, investors that are in Africa. And most of these tech companies that are advancing in tech are also investing in Africa. So, for Africa, I think Africa is not left out. And in terms of the technology that is going to be interfering with their beliefs, I think, on my take on opinion, I think it won't interfere that much, because a lot of Africans cannot do without the internet. It's not that we cannot do without the internet, but Africa can stand, I would say, with or without the internet, but the damage will be more on Africa. But if there will be a lot of damage if the internet is not here, for example. So Africa will be like 200 years backward, or I would say 100 or 300 years backward. But at least, with the presence of the internet, it makes life easy all over the world and all over in Africa. Because from here to Ghana, you can book a flight online. You can book your ticket and go to Ghana. From Lagos to Ghana, it's not with it from your phone. You can buy anything from eBay from Lagos and they will bring it to you, even though it might take some days. But it is, how hard it is back in those days when there was no internet. So it has a lot of advantages, and the disadvantages are there as well. And some of the disadvantages are some of the beliefs of the people. There are some places in Africa, I could remember back in those days when they brought the computer, and a lot of Africans were like, this thing has a demon inside. They were like, this thing has a demon inside, because how comes you can do something, you can do a lot of stuff with it, and then you can do almost anything with it. So it took Africans some time before they adapt to that innovations of the modern day technology, and Africans are adapting fast. And of course, there is an evolutionary change. An evolutionary change is like, let me give you an instance of an evolutionary change. Like if you give birth to a child, the moment a child sees this phone or this laptop or this TV, he knows where the power on button is, for example. Or if you give a child something, he knows, like especially computer or electronic devices, they know where the power on is and the power off automatically. Not by nobody telling them, just by looking at it, they already know this is the power button and this is the power off button. This is the call, and it looks like they already know something without you being telling them. there is an evolutionary change of a smarter generation. So for every generation that comes from 40, 50, 60, 100 years, there would always be a generational shift. So don't forget, because of that generational shift, the children in the whole world, our own generation or the next generation that are coming, they are going to be coming after us, they are going to be a little bit smarter than us in terms of adapting with the modern day technology. So I think it won't be that much. They will not interfere. It will not interfere much, because even people who speak Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, English, Twi, Efik, or any culture in the world, or any type of culture, they use phone. They use the computer because they can, at least it can be converted to their own language. They can use it to communicate. When you call somebody on the phone, you pick the phone and then you put it on your ears, and then you call another person. You might call somebody in your own village and you'll be able to communicate even in your own dialect, because it's the sound that transmits. Had it been it is only programmed in English, then it would interfere with your own language, because you as an African, you cannot do anything except in English. But technology has made it easier for you to use even your own language and communicate and exchange informations all over the world with the electronic devices and modern day science and technology. So I think the whole point and purpose of technology is to make life easy, but then it has its own prices. I think maybe misusing of some of these things, and then the disadvantages of people use anything can be used for evil and anything can be used for good. I always tell my friends this, and I always tell my people this, because I have seen it happen. Anything, people can use anything for good, and people can use anything for evil. So apart from that, also the cultures in Africa, I think, don't have a problem much with technology. It's just that, except if they have, what Africans have much is the clash of beliefs. This person is a Muslim, this person is a Christian. I think that more is even having a friction between two differences of beliefs and cultural differences. Those ones are the ones that most predominantly. But in Africa, I think, even though it is very minimal, because people are going into tech. People are going into tech in Africa. People are going to study computer. People are studying a lot of things, So I think it won't be much a problem like that. And so I think it won't be a very big problem, like I said. Yeah.
Last week, like, you talked about some great subject, and so many people was talking about it, and they asked me to tell us a little bit more about the terrorism and the taking over. So many people was interested in that topic. And can you tell us a little bit more about the terrorists and how Nigeria is dealing with the terrorists? And can the terrorists really take over the whole country? Do you think they could go in small villages and run the people out and make big changes? Where do you think Nigeria is heading? Will it be a time where other countries will have to intervene, such as China? And do you believe China has a chance of taking over Nigeria altogether?
Okay. The issue of terrorism in Nigeria is, it has been for a very long time. It has been said, I think, when my dad was about to retire from when my dad retired from the army in the 90s, growing up as a military, in a military family, my dad always tell us, in fact, my dad is the reason I loved history. My dad is one of the reasons I picked interest in history and, history of, everything like cultures, Africa, philosophy, and then, mind, everything. My dad has the opportunity of traveling all over the world as a UN soldier, peacekeeping mission in Sudan, Israel, Lebanon, and then Liberia before my dad retired. So he has the opportunity as a Nigerian army under the UN platform to serve Nigeria through the UN. So my dad has always shared with me some of the war stories and the situations of and histories of cultures of the world, and so it's one of those things. It's amazing. And so my dad told me some of the histories about how these rebel groups were formed. My dad will always talk about Islamic attacks and terrorist attack in the Middle East, especially Saudi Arabia. My dad will be talking about these guys, and I know nothing. But as a kid, I could still remember. So growing up, I began to see some of these terrorist organizations and some of these terrorist groups come to play. They become so much more real for me as a person. So I began to make some research personally on my own. 2001, some years back in 2001, there was this Muslim fellow in Nigeria called Muhammad Yakubu. He is the founder of Boko Haram in Nigeria. So in the in the northern, Nigeria has 4 protectorate or 5: the north, the east, the west, and the southern part of Nigeria, and then the middle belt. So there's the north, which is where the Hausa people are; the east, which is where the Igbo people are; the south, where the Calabar, the Efik, the Delta people, the Benin. Then the west, you have the Yoruba people, and then also the Benin people are also in the west. And then in the the northern, like I said, the north, east, west, and south. And then in the middle belt, we have the Angas, the Jukun, the Benue people. So there are so many things to understand. This guy, like I said, Muhammad Yakubu, is the founder of Boko Haram in Nigeria, and he comes from the northern part of Nigeria. He's some people, I think he's a Hausa man or a Fulani man or Kanuri, because there are so many tribes in Nigeria, don't forget. So there's Hausa, Fulani, and Kanuri in the Bornu. Bornu is sharing borders in Nigeria with Chad, Lake Chad, and that Lake Chad that flows from the River Nile. So where the ancestors were moving, this and that, So from that place, you can easily move into Egypt. You can go to Chad, you can go to Niger from Borno State. So it's linking some of these places. You can even go to Cameroon from Borno State. So, it's a vast desert, So, this guy came and formed Boko Haram with a movement of fighting for the cause of the people, because the government has always been, he started it like an anti-government something to fight for the poor man, for the poor masses, and then it later escalated to a religious portfolio. So I think one day something happened, and it's like the guy felt sick, or the guy died. So some of his followers, the followers of Muhammad Yakubu, went to bury him. So they met with soldiers in Borno. There was a checkpoint. I think there was a military checkpoint somewhere in Borno. So they had some frictions between the soldiers and, because those guys don't respect the Nigerian army like that. Because who are you to stop us? Because we are going to bury one of our own, a respected statesman, of course, which there's nothing bad with honoring somebody who has always fight for his people, So before the thing changed and become something else, so they started having problems with the soldiers there, and they exchanged fire. They started shooting, and it became something else. And I think I'm gonna drop the real history of that Boko Haram. So there are so many speculations to how these guys came about, but it's going to take much of our time. But they started having problems with the soldiers, with the military in Borno State before it escalated. So that is where Boko Haram was found, in Borno State in Nigeria. So after from 2001, and then 2002, 2003, up to 2019, 2020, 21, for more than some years, for more than like 20 years, these people have been terrorizing Nigerians for a very long time. They will kidnap schoolgirls, rape them, impregnate them, give birth to, give rise to, some, uncared baby. They don't take care of those children, and then it's somehow so devastating that the government has tried so much as possible, and yet it took a lot of time, from the time of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, when Goodluck was the president of Nigeria, down to President Muhammadu Buhari. That was in 2015. That was when it got really hot. Once you look a Muslim, people might even categorize you as a Boko Haram. Once you keep beard in Nigeria, back in those, they will categorize you as a Boko Haram, because it was so terrible at that time. I think that was when I was about to graduate from secondary school or so. So we even had a debate in school, and I was at the proposing side about Boko Haram, and we had a debate, and we had to write, we have to do research, we have to make some research on it. And I had some friends, couple of guys, that we made it like we kept it real together, and we made some research. There are so many things we have to be sensitive, and we have to make sure that we don't go against, and then we also don't protect anything that is not right. So we have to say it the way it is, and then we also have to fight for the right of the people. We went for a debate, an international debate in Nigeria, and then I represented my school with a couple of my friends, and then we talked about this on national TV. It was a privilege for me, because we stood in front of hundreds, thousands and millions of people. And then that was how, the issue of having courage to stand in front of people came for me as a privilege, So we talked about this, and then, it was a serious problem. Now, the issue of terrorism and general in Africa, it didn't start today. It started for a very long time. Like I mentioned last week, there is ISIS in Syria. There is Al-Qaeda in the Saudi Arabia. There is Hezbollah. There is Hamas terrorists. There is Al-Shabaab. There is Boko Haram. Boko Haram means Western education is forbidden. Is haram. Haram in Islam, in Arabic word, means something that is forbidden. So it's like you take a chicken or a pork meat and says pork is haram. Like pork meat is haram. So like in Islam, it is forbidden, which there's nothing wrong for you to forbid something, as long as you have religious followers, followers that follows your belief, and then you say, hey, don't take this. It is not. Even in Bible, there are some times where God of Israel, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God, God told Israelites not to eat certain animals, because those animals were considered unhealthy, but those are the days that, God know that man has not advanced to take care of the diseases in those animals. Man didn't advance at that time to treat those diseases, but today, man has advanced, and, you have the freedom to eat whatever you want to eat. And even though, even some places in the Bible still talk that, you don't consider anything that God has created as unholy. So, but these religions have their own perspective. So anything that is forbidden is haram in Islam. So, they said Western education is haram. If you go to another country, it has its own name. Like in Pakistan, it has its own name. They have the Taliban. The Taliban are fighting for the cause of Allah. They have their own beliefs. The Taliban they fight for the cause of their. And you need to understand something, that there are two branches of Islam: the Sunnite Muslims and the Shiite Muslims. Just like in Christianity, there's Jehovah's Witness, there's contemporary Christian, there's Pentecostal Christians. The same thing in Islam. It also has branches. There are Sunnite Muslims and there are Shiite Muslims. The Shiite Muslims are saying, the Shiite Muslims are the ones who, they can mix with Christians, they can, but the Sunnite are the strict Muslims. The strict Muslims, you see, they keep beards, they follow the strict laws of Prophet Muhammad, they follow the strict orders. So, when you see a Sunnite Muslim, is different from a Shiite Muslim, but there are times that they will be one. When in terms of some situations, they will say we are one, but within themselves, they have some little divisions, and but they still believe in the teachings of Allah, and they still believe in the Prophet Muhammad. So It's just like that. So, so these rebel groups are mostly rooted in the other side of the rebel group, which is the Sunnite Muslims, and they have on their own perspective. They feel like they have a cause, like a reason to fight for Allah. So they have to die for that, and it is a honor for them to die. So, it's all about perspective. What you see is wrong. What you're saying 9 in your own place, in another person's place is 6. So 9 in other places is 6. 6 in other places is 9. So it's just all about perspective. And if you turn around, you see 6, and if you turn around, you see 9. So it's all about perspective and how you brought up. Somebody once asked me, say, "Hey Lord, if you're born in Islam, how are you going to cope with if you grow up as a Muslim? How do you cope with that, being a Muslim?" And I was like, me, I make the researches, I learn from anything. I listen to like anything. I pay close attention to anything. Like I'm sensitive to anything, and then I learn from anything. So as a person, I'll learn from, any other person. Just like Mahatma Gandhi is a Buddhist, and he followed the teachings of Jesus Christ, and he didn't stop himself from being a Buddhist follower. So it would be good for somebody not to limit him or herself to certain wisdom from other platforms, because it is, even the Bible says, it is good to listen. It is good, always be a good listener. Even the Bible advises it is good to listen. And so this terrorist group, they have something they believe that they are fighting for. So for in a time like we are in 2023, I think they need to be like, they need to be reached out to, because maybe there's a way, and that is why in some countries they have a platform for negotiation. They have to negotiate, and the government would negotiate with them. But we are calling on people to understand that, whatever you're doing, don't take people's life. Don't jeopardize with people's life. Whatever you're doing that you have to take somebody's life, a human life, it is not good. And whatever it is that has to take human life, please, it is something that it is against humanity. Anything that is against humanity, there's a question mark on it. So we will not support and we will not agitate for anything that has to take human life. And it's, if you're fighting for your belief, you can fight for it, but you don't have to fight humans. You don't have to fight for your fellow humans. Imagine if other fellow humans also have their reason to fight. The whole world will be in chaos. So just like Mahatma Gandhi says, if the world should go eye for an eye, the whole world will go blind. So we need to understand that other people's belief it has to stick with them. But if people are only limited to their own and they're not open to the rest of the world, then that is also a question mark. That is a red flag for them, because there will be no growth. People will also not go there, and then anywhere people are restricted to, there will be no human growth around that place. So it's a very big problem. In Nigeria, terrorism has always been a problem, and Nigerians are vulnerable in these situations. Anytime it happens, anytime there's a Boko Haram attack, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, there was many bomb explosions in Abuja, in Kaduna, in Jos, in Borno, for many times, many years. It took some time. There was even a time that Nigeria belongs to the UN. Nigeria is also a body of the United Nations and African Union. So there was a time these countries sent their help. Israel sent their help. China sent their help. United States sent their help. They came, and then they couldn't rescue some of the girls. They noticed that there were some irregularities, and it was somehow very difficult for them to rescue some of these girls. And they had to withdraw some of their troops from Borno State, and that is where the stronghold of the Boko Haram people are in Nigeria. So now it took Nigeria some time, with serious prayers and effort and fighting and some creation of vigilante groups, with joining forces with the armed forces, Nigerian Armed Forces Group, the military. They joined forces, and then till today, as we speak right now, Nigerian armed forces, Nigerian army are still fighting the Boko Haram people, the rebel groups in Borno State. You can imagine the thousands and hundreds and thousands of soldiers that died fighting. That I'm speaking, my brother is MIA, missing in action in Borno State right now as we speak. He came from a peacekeeping mission in Sudan and they transferred him to Borno State. And up to today, we have not seen him for 4 years. That is my blood elder brother. So, personally, I don't, every time it hurts me a lot that I miss a brother. And at the same time, I have to also, mourn with other people who lost their loved ones there. They have some brothers and sisters out there fighting for this country. So it has become so unfortunate that some people are supporting them in Nigeria, and then some people, majority of Nigerians don't support them, but there are a handful of people that support. So for anything that happens, there are always people that will support. So it's a very terrible situation in Africa. In Kenya, they also face the same thing. In Kenya, that is where Kenya and Somalia, that is where Al-Shabaab is always disturbing them over there. They will all go to school, open fire on students. There was a time they go to a school, I think a girls' school or something, girls' academy or something. They open fire and kills hundreds of schoolgirls. Also, that is I don't know if you're fighting for something, there are many ways you fight for freedom. You don't kill innocent people. That is what we are saying. So if you're listening to our voices right now, you can also make contributions to this. Please call us on 718-253-7273. It is, of course, me and the CEO here in the studio holding it down on the Monday Night Show. And of course, if you want to make contributions, you can also, if the call rates are so expensive for you because it's an international call, of course, +1 is a US number. You can drop your contributions on the Facebook platforms, on our social media platforms, on kingandqueenradio.com and other sites where you can. We're also on Twitter, Instagram. We are also on Thread, the new launch platforms on social media owned by Meta and Instagram. So you can also join us there, or you can call us directly. Whichever way you want to make your contributions. And we, as a multicultural station, we are not limited to only Nigeria. We are not limited to Ghana. We are not limited to West Africa. Wherever you are right now, you're listening to us through the internet. Is an internet radio platform where it is open to the whole wide world. As a multicultural station, we bring cultures together. Tell us about the situation in your country. Tell us about the situation of terrorism in your own home country, and let's hear your opinion right now. 718-253-7273. And if you're out there, it will be good to watch out and be safe. And in these times of COVID-19, you also need to watch out and be safe, So I think this is the time for us to take a recap on some of the headlines that are going on today. And we need to look at some of these things and then let's talk about them. So Davido finally bows to pressure and deletes a controversial video. Remember, Davido signed a new music artist in Lagos here, and then something happened. There was a new video they dropped, and that video they were wearing an Islamic cultural attire, So they were doing, I think they needed to take they did some moves which violates which the Muslim community or the Muslim Ummah feels it has disrespected Islam. And so they called on Davido. It was a serious backlash the whole of this week. And last week, Davido was facing serious backlash. He couldn't take the video for the first day. The second day, he didn't take it. The third day, he has no option than to take it because people were unfollowing his Instagram handle. People were unfollowing his pages, and people reported his social media platforms. And then it was a very serious problem. He has to take the video down. He's a famous singer, and he apologized. And David Adeleke, aka Davido, has finally deleted the video clip from the controversial video of his signee Logos Olori new single Jayelo, which he shared on Twitter. He deleted it in the early hours of yesterday, and then it has been trending globally. So the video, which many Muslim commentators, describe as offensive, showed a group of people dressed, like I said, and ostensibly in a Muslim prayer session, suddenly turned into dancing and singing. They accused the singer, who has nearly 14 million followers on microblogging site, of disrespecting Islam by mixing their religious rites and rituals with song and dance. They call him to delete the video and apologize, which he did on the early hours of yesterday, and today he deleted the video and apologized. So that is that on that. So unknown infections kill at least 10 children in Kaduna State in Nigeria. Medical authorities in Kaduna State have raised alarm over the outbreak of an unknown respiratory tract infection, which they say has killed 10 children, and is devastating, and children between the age range between 3 to 13 years. And there's an NGO in Nigeria that reaffirms to commitment. They have committed to end HIV and AIDS in Nigeria. The Society for Family Health has reaffirmed its commitment to paving the way for the abolition of AIDS in Nigeria. The federal government urges Nigeria to embrace Operation Feed Yourself. Again, the federal government of Nigeria urges Nigerians to embrace Operation Feed Yourself. The federal government says there is need for Nigerians to imbibe in Operation Feed Yourself. The national convener of the United Nations for Food System and director at the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning believes this will help end hunger and improve food security in the country. God help us all. What is your take on this, guys? If you have any opinion, you can drop this on 718-253-7273. Make sure you add +1 to the number, and of course you can drop your opinions as usual on the social media platforms, and we will be able to read it out together with your shout out. Vice President Shettima departs Abuja to represent Nigeria at 2 key summits in Rome. The Vice President Kashim Shettima of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria's new president, Senator Kashima, has departed Abuja to represent Nigeria at 2 key international summits in Rome, Italy, and St. Petersburg in Russia. So thousands of people are stranded in Olodo bridge collapse in Ibadan. Thousands of passengers have been stranded after the collapse of Olodo Bridge in Ibadan, Oyo State capital. British entertainer Vince Hill dies at the age of 89. British entertainer Vince Hill dies at the age of 89. May his soul rest in peace. Two protesters burned the Holy Quran in front of Iraq's embassy in Denmark. Two protesters burned the Holy Quran in front of Iraq's embassy in Denmark. So on the local news, Lagos State has warned the Alaba International Market traders against illegal structures. Lagos State Building Control Agency has given traders in Alaba International Market 2 weeks ultimatum to take down illegal structures, or the government will be forced to do it for them. And for the fuel problems in Nigeria, fuel price hike. Lagos workers have adopted shift operations. Federal government will fine or prosecute POS operators 1 million naira for illegal pricing. Federal government to fine or prosecute POS operators 1 million naira for illegal pricing. If you go to the POS, you want to withdraw money, they will say 1,000 naira is 200 naira, 5,000 naira is 200 naira, 10,000 naira is 300 naira. So the charges is high. So the federal government is about to prosecute them. I wouldn't say it's this, because they are also working hard to survive. So pictorial Enugu residents protest against sit at home. Enugu residents, southeast, this is the eastern part, the Igbos are protesting against sit at home. Sit at home is the collective command that has been given to the Igbos. They are they're agitating for the Biafra, a movement to carve their own country out of Nigeria, because they want to divide Nigeria and have their own country, the Biafrans. So but their own people are tired of having this sit at home. Is affecting their businesses and is affecting some of them from having their social activities. So they are protesting against sit at home. The killings of 103 NSAS protesters in Lagos is one of the Buhari's era's hidden atrocities, says Senator Shehu Sani. 103 NSAS protesters in Lagos is one of Buhari's era's hidden atrocities in Nigeria, says Senator Shehu Sani. Remember, during the NSAS, Nigerians were protesting that there should be a change. The old people should give the past. They should pass the government to the young people. The young people need to rule. We're tired of the old people. So the NSAS was a time when the whole country was shaken. The whole country was shaken. The whole country shook because the youth burned. Youth took to demonstrate, peaceful demonstration on the street, on all the 36 states of Nigeria. The youth protested and the whole country shook. So at that time, many Nigerians were killed. So 103 protesters, peaceful protesters, were killed in Lagos. So I was one of the people that went to support the peaceful protest. What we do is to go out, on a peaceful protest. Some people, however, turn it to another thing. And what we did is to carry flag, sing the Nigerian national anthem, and do a peaceful protest. And I was there. So it's one of those things to remember. So you can call us on 718-253-7273. Let's enjoy some songs, Kekele, and come back and continue the show right there.
For the rest came coming on my way. I used to buy my loud for 2K. The many days will be say rap and okay. Me the back sack on to me shake. The vibe stay sharp like every day. The bad vibes more like a souffle. Get a perfect picture like a beat, like a dope. No be adope, it be real life. You sabi say kala. Fene, but share it to be shake. She come from side. I'm living my best life. Nobody can tell me how I would live my life.
I didn't know vex for me. Say I never go you since, but I hope that you are well. I hope your mind gets well. Every day I dey pray for you. Make you a bag, God bless you. I never forget you, I gon' forget you. See my shoulder, make you rest up on me. You know I got you, now me be your friend indeed. The money don't show now, I don't keep some for you. You know go so far, cause anything I get now for me and you, yeah. How are you, my friend? How do you do, my friend? I know sometimes it be like say nobody send you. That's one lie I did for you.
King and Queen Radio.
How are you, my friend? How do you do, my friend? I know sometimes it be like say nobody send you. That's one lie I did for you, my friend. Remy Atata, you always stay in my mind. I did me gone. I cherish you with my life. Don't worry yourself, oh. Everything go day alright. And if anybody try you, know it's gonna be on sight. See my shoulder, make you rest up on me. You know I got you, let me be your friend in need. Oh, money don't show now. I don't keep some for you. You know go so far, cause anything I get now for me and you, yeah. How are you, my friend? How do you do, my friend? Man getting high till I fade out. If the vibe no pure on the way up, full of vibe. Anytime we step out, the men them outside, we know they house. No they look for us, we know they house. So they see the mullah, we don't spray out. Thank God, said the maga don't pay out. Okay, see, I'm ahead of them, I see what you. I'm a fucking baller, you got only me. No man fit talk shit to me. Me look me, you go collect oh. See, I'm on a me, the leader, she want you. I'm a fucking baller, alone in me. No man fit talk shit to me. Me look me, you go collect oh. Chasing my friends and click. When I call them, I all pulling up. We strapped up with the guns and the swords and things. Bring hell to anybody who try to test me. I'm your dad, I'm your uncle, I'm your popsy. I be old man, no go, they call me Gen Z. Bread at sea, steady giving them gap, multi love far. They can never near me. I smile lover, just go. My own boy, don't show. I'm on my polo white, my face show. Sweet boy for life, you don't know. You're serious, babe, they worry my phone. You done this up for back, you don't know. Every day we dey run, I'm on call. Supposed to know how the thing go. Man, getting high till I fade out. If the vibe no pure, on my way out. Pull balu, anytime we stay past. The men them outside, we know their house. No, they look for us, we know their house. So they see the mullah, we don't spray out. Thank God, said the maga don't pay out. Okay, see, I'm ahead of them, I she want you. I'm a fucking baller, you got only me. No man fit talk shit to me. Me look me, you go collect oh. See, I'm on a me, the leader, she want you. I'm a fucking baller, you got only me. No man fit talk shit to me.
Listening to something so lady, what I'm feeling lately, I don't know, lady.
So baby, draw me closer like Picasso. Tell me, say you got the man we know. Baby girl, you know I got the figure. Make a sing and make it dance a below.
I'm a monster, I get ego, but I got love for you, you know.
Aphrodite don't cut my ego. So I stay down for you, filo. The way you whine, slow whine. I looked and I saw signs. We were fine, but our trust was on the line. Baby girl, you was my slime. Baby girl, you everything I like. Baby girl, you was my slime. Fashion is the life of design. Could I never start my own line?
Potoro. I got love for you, oh no. Now your man got to leave solo. I do it for you, look, go. Blow them, go. Now your man got to take choco. Follow you down to Soweto. No use me play pito. Do me like this is so. Baby, this is so. Flames are burning in my soul. Baby, I've been listening to Southie soul. Lady, what I'm feeling lately, I don't know. Lady,
so baby, draw me closer like Picasso. Tell me, say you got the man you know. Baby, girl, you do shake it to pop.
On God, this life is sweet, but if you wow. I pray to God where my blessings fall. Daddy can let do proper. Get the money, live soft life. Say they want to link for vibes. Mama nigga size no time. After the club last night, wake up with and go far. To kill it from my side. We are no feel recognize. Worry me. I'ma make nothing worry me. Try to cover me, so they can't see me. Cutting me down till I'm on the show. Dating on my ambition. I'm a sweet sensation. Just one come chill. Wow. Too many things I did think, wow. I never talk anything, wow. And they do shakity, pop. On God, this life is sweet, but if you wow. I pray to God where my blessings fall.
Another chorus, just another bonus. Mr. Nicodemus said he wouldn't pay us. After all the work we are putting for Lagos, I was wilding out and they thought they could tame us. Blame it on features, some underrate us. But it's only cause there's nobody that made us. I'm the one that's disturbing artists on labels. After this in my book, me a trip to Seychelles, so Antigua. I look by me now, please do not compare a naked to a damn new guy. I look by the guy, you won't pop proper. You stick her back from away straight to Bagada. Now you didn't see me now. G63S AMG, my engine make the ladies go OMG. My tank always on full, you know, feel empty. I've been thinking about the Lord, I need too plenty.
Wow. Too many things I did think, wow. I never talk anything, wow. And they do shakity, pop.
Love you, raga, do you love you? Love you, kill it, passing you. Such you, so me, so you. I saw the way you were looking at me. If you come to my yard, I no go tired. I've been singing falsetto, baby blow my trumpet.
I've been at them and say I'm very lucky. That junkie, I'm going off key. You might just a doggy, they give me lucky. The way you work it, I'm by your back and follow you like a monkey. Not even bragging, you know what's cracking. I'm never lagging, unleash the dragon. Love me a baddie, like what shiny. CGNG, throat coat, never gagging. Billy. You what you want. I never do one quarter for you. I go do more if you let me for you. I better. I know that you wanna. They collect banana. Go chop la.
Love you. Raga, do you love you. Kill it, passing you. Such you. So you. I saw the way you were looking at me. If you come to my yard, I no go tired. I'll be singing for
don't tell me make a cool me down. Remember back in a ghetto we dey sleep for ground. Now we rubbing shoulders with a ceiling fan. A nigga with a fight with a nigga with another nigga we no get shishi nigga. A nigga got a rifle a nigga and a nigga pull a trigger. Cause I got the upper hand you. So me I hold a with a rubber band you. No they for mujaga band you. Now my jaga music everybody bang you know. I'm in a city crowd. Then I start to reason how we be the grind you. Let it is attacking man you. But don't you mess up with my other man you. My inner joy. All I want is inner joy, my inner joy. Don't they mess with me at all, my inner joy. All I need is inner joy, my inner joy. You're my inner joy. All I want is inner joy, my inner joy. Don't they mess with me at all, my inner joy. All I need is inner joy, my inner joy. Tunkolo do ne do. Better be your juju since body na fiber. I do it in a day. No matter what you do, jealousy go die down. See the reason why I fuck with you, my nigga. Say na because you know this thing with a cigar. Even your lady, I didn't knock with Montina. It is unnecessary. Situation don't bad you. When you come in a me city, don't mad you. And all of the neighbors don't wide you. But in a distance, everything it don't cast you. You see the reason why I fuck with you, my nigga. Say na because you know this thing with a cigar. Even your lady, I didn't knock with Montina. Yes, I got the upper hand you. So me I hold a with a rubber band you. No they come jaga band you. Now my jaga music everybody band you.
Fire go, turn up and go. Pop some shampoo. You can be super now where I die, I be like Django. Lover boy no control.
You're listening to King and Queen Radio.
Anything feels up tonight. Give me champagne, make up tonight. You know say me I know they compromise. If you come tonight, you go come tonight. Wadu, I'm a bachelor. Dangerous, I'm a bachelor. As she wine pon me, all the girls jealous. Come on up. So just grind me slow. I'll do anything you want me to. If I leave you, make you find me go. I can do this many times with you.
Make she no go enter inside my caban. Modu fire be like Jagabans. Philomena, can I be your party man? Make I pattern no kirika for the paroland. You get the melody where I been they forget. Make I sing her for the shoddy fire peck her neck. Modu touch my breast, she give me consent. I go dey content, I cannot brag, I do her pressure put me on the bench.
6:30, all the girls want flex. Weekend trips on the London jet. Recently, I just did my piece, I'm on the ND, so no calls, just text. You and I, we did together like suit and tie. We go together like juice and ice. I don't go mind if you move tonight. Just grind me slow. I'll do anything you want me to. If I leave you, make you find me go. I can do this many times with you.
Make I feel like one, my shorty, tell me what you want. Louis V and Prada, Puma, you can have it all. I could look at flange, save it like a gun. I could look at flange, save it like a gun. What did they my polo? Lucky lady, my band. Sipping on my shayo. She don't know my name.
Say fire them, kill a man, shit. The girl, kill a man, shit. Kill a man, shit. The girl, kill a man, shit, a man, shit. Baby, don't delay. Baby, on the low. You better pass me your love, oh. And on the low, make me link up, yeah. I give you love like Zaza. Nobody do it like Zaza. I buy you that new Prada. Nobody do it like Zaza, yeah. I give you love like Zaza. Nobody do it like Zaza. I buy you that new Prada. Nobody do it like Zaza, yeah. Say my pretty girl, where you dey go? Oh. We never finish, so where you dey go? Oh. You know, say now me there on the show. Oh. Dance and shake it like you on the show. Oh. The way you do your thing, you murder them. On the dance floor, you fire them. On the finish line, you finish them. The way you move your waist, you fire them. I give you love like Zaza. Nobody do it like Zaza. I buy you that new Prada. Nobody do it like Zaza, yeah. I give you love like Zaza. Nobody do it like Zaza. I buy you that new Prada. Nobody do it like Zaza, yeah. Let me take why.
Too many fine girls stay for you. But I just one in particular, but they close the marital, yeah. You know, say man, you know, can speak for now. Got the money, get the vocabulary, where you feel it, man, I'm there. Me the tutorial, some of us say tutorial. Sure you won't go there for salad, don't man, I'm there, baby. We go spray mommy leak. All I am is again make it more. Coconut oil, no fit to fry or do to man, no man, baby. Seriously, I wish I pick up 5 for divorce if you go. Follow me to my heart, oh my love. Follow me to my heart, oh my love. Yeah, oh. Anybody, I'm a make I no catch anybody. Yeah, you cause I feel collapse anybody. I know call you, they do the little piece. Yeah, oh. I know call you, Kadu, Alibaba, oh no be. Vibes, Alishala, oh I know. Call you for this and that day, yeah. I know these small boys they could December. Cause now koto skitty baby. So you like that t-shirt and I need to light my ganja. 2 puffs and my door clothes. I know more there is in order. Just one day on my own. Only stress I wanna bag a lot. And that's why me no more relationship. No more relationship. These days them are so toxic. I feel my eye don't see something. That's why me no more relationship. No more relationship. These days them are so toxic.
Folks, we just want to remind you, this is not of the station what we discuss. This is only our views and how we are thinking at the moment. It's not that we believe in it. It's just a discussion that's being discussed. So pick it up, enjoy it, do your own research, and whatever you believe in, continue believing in your belief. This is not to change anyone's belief or to interfere with anybody's way of belief. This is just our discussion of things in life that should be discussed and that you may be thinking in your mind and you need to know. So sometimes you just hear other people talk about it can make you do your research even better. But make sure you do genuine research, because so many people can write books and not everything in books is always true. So research over and over again until you satisfied with what you feel is good for you, because what good for the goose could not be good for the gander. So enjoy the show. We enjoy these topics, and we hope you enjoy them too. And if you like to write us, you could write us at africanreader@aol.com. That's AFRICANREADER@aol.com. AfricanReader@aol.com. And by the way, this is a beautiful morning. I hope you are enjoying this morning, and I hope you have things to do, and I hope you're planning to do something really, really good for someone today. Treat your friends and treat your neighbors good. And what I like to discuss a lot about hospitalization in Nigeria. What is the hospitals like, and how are the patients treated in the hospital? And is it any way do they stay in the hospital? And let's give the people in America and other countries about our hospital system, and also let's teach the people how, if they're in Nigeria as a guest visitors and they get hurt, how would they get assistance right away, and how would they get to the hospital, and what numbers would they call, and how is the service of getting to a fast hospital when you're in the middle of the highway somewhere with thousands of cars all over the place, people running, bicycles going, motorcycles going, and you stuck. How do you get help if you're a foreigner?
Okay, the way things are in Nigeria is quite different from the way things are in other parts of the world. So, for us to understand that very well, healthcare system in Nigeria is not really being taken care of very well. In the health sector, for example, the Minister of Health in the previous years, from the time of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan as president to Muhammadu Buhari, they've been on strike. Most of the time they will go on strike, they're not being paid, the workers are not being paid, there are poor healthcare facilities, unlike the States, for example, in terms of taking care of human life. If you got shot, for example, or maybe if there's any gun violence or anything, and somebody gets shot, now the first thing they do in other parts of the world, and especially in the United States, they will take you to the nearest hospital. You get treatment first. They will save your life first. In Nigeria, you will talk about, once they take you to, once you go to any hospital, first of all, they will ask you to bring any police report, or you would have to go to the police station. A loved one has to go to the police station before they would even take you or admit you to the hospital. Somehow, some way, Nigerians have reacted so badly to this, and some people have even fight with some of the health personnel that they need to save their lives, the life of their loved ones first before any other thing. And sometimes you might even talk about the money first before somebody is being admitted to. This is what is happening in Nigeria, I am telling you. Or in some places where they will consider saving the person's life, they will detain the person, until the money is paid before the person is released. So, they will take care of your patient. But I think in other parts of the world, it is like that. You'll be taken care of, and then the bills, the hospital bills and everything will be issued later on at the discharge of the patient, if I'm right, if I'm not mistaken. But in Nigeria, the case is always different. If there's any motor accident, if there's any casualty from an accident, there has to be a police report or documentation before the proper treatment will be administered to that patient. I am telling you, this has always been, it was from the previous constitution during the 1999 constitution of Nigeria. I think it has been amended, so far so good, but then this has always been the practice for a very long time, a very, very long time. In Nigeria, You are on your own for almost everything. You are on your own in Nigeria. So, but even though Nigerians have, proposed for a restructuring in the healthcare system, because the previous administration, during the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, I think there were so many restructuring, but it couldn't take proper. They didn't take it into proper consideration. They didn't take any proper measures to make sure that has been taken care of. But I think in this administration there is hope. There is hope because I believe this administration will be different. At least there is hope for a troubled mind as mine. Like for a troubled Nigerian youth, there is hope for a youth. This healthcare is something in Nigeria has always been. Any good leader from any part of the world, they must always take care of three things. The first one is healthcare of the people, because if you are not healthy, you cannot do anything. So the first is the healthcare, and then the second is agriculture, which is the food, and then the third one is education. So before any other thing, these are the primary aims of any leader. These are the primary, most important agendas of any leader that goes to any position in any part of the world, especially as the presidency. These are the primary things that all countries do put into consideration. First is the healthcare system, and the second one is the agricultural system, and then the other one is the educational system. But in Nigeria, funny enough, none of this system is working well, because both the only one is even the agricultural system. Nigerians are just into farming. We are lucky that we Africans we are very good in farming, and we have this profession for a very long time that has been passed down to us for generations to generations. So this has always been of great help to us. So if not, we would have been in soup. We would have been in problem, because if Nigerians are not farming, I don't know how it would have ended up. But even at that, the farming activities in Nigeria are not much more productive like that. So this is why the prices of food are very expensive in the market, because there are less farmers, and our youth in today's generation, they don't like farming. People don't like to farm, but I do farm. That was when I was at home. I used to support, go out with my parents and farm. I used to help them in the farm. I have the experience of farming. So, but majority of my counterparts, my age mate, they don't like farming. Most of our people, they don't like farming. And if the government itself is not even ready, imagine when the youth are not ready. So the agricultural system is not in a good shape in Nigeria, but people are still farming. People still farm, but on a commercial scale, this was one of the major activity of Nigerian government back in the days when Nigeria was producing cash crops like granite, cocoa, and palm oil, and other things, that they used to export it, and that was the major product Nigeria was doing before the discovery of crude oil in Nigeria. So before the discovery of oil and petrol in Nigeria. So we have a very long way to go, especially in the healthcare system in Nigeria.
Wow, we almost end this show. Oh,
Yeah.
I've just enjoyed this morning. It was so beautiful. I mean, we had a great time. Lot is, I know you told us about all the artists we have and where they can find everything.
Yeah.
And, it's people just need to keep listening to this show. And don't forget, I'm Sister Dabong, the African spiritual reader. See me in the morning, be happy in the evening. You're having troubles in your life, you could call me 718-253-7273. That's +1 718-253-7273. Write me, African Reader, AFRICANREADER @AOL.com. If you'd like to get on this show, get in touch with me or get in touch with DJ Pahma, and we could get you on this show, or get in touch with Lot Sunday. It's just a beautiful day here. It's starting to be a beautiful day. This morning is great, and I know there's plenty things you're going to do today, and tell us what's going on, and uh, tell us some things we can go and do. Would be fun, lot.
Okay, there are so many activities I would like to recommend as a King and Queen radio advocate in Nigeria and in Africa. I would like to tell our fellow listeners out there all over the world, eat healthy, work out healthy, keep a positive energy. And, just like we always learn from Sister Dubong, keep a positive energy and make sure you always eat healthy food and go for some exercises to keep your body fit. And family first, always make sure that you have, and family doesn't necessarily mean family doesn't mean only, it doesn't only mean only your people, your bloodline, your connection. People that are always resonating with you are your families. People that can take a bullet for you are your families. People that will always stand for you both in your presence and your absence are your family. So I think you need to look out for one another, and then be your brother's keeper instead of your brother's killer. And then you have to represent your people. Anything you do, you are a representation of your people. You are a representation of your peers, your family, and your friends. So friendship is a bond. Remember, you always protect a sacred thing. Anything that is sacred, anything that is always important, you always protect it. And family is one. And then your relationship with people matters a lot. And then as King and Queen Radio advocate here in Africa, I always say this, that always keep a positive energy. And if you need more of this, you can also visit sisterdubong.com for more information based on spirituality and also general life, every other information about life in general. And then King and Queen Radio is an open platform for the world where King and Queen Radio, BrooklynStation.com, and then SisterDubong.com are all owned by Zina Palin, aka Sister Dubong. That's the owner and King and Queen Radio. We're always together with her here running the show, and that is the CEO. So anytime you listen to that voice, that is the owner of the radio station. So 247 anytime once, as long as you hear this program and all the music going, just know that a lot of efforts are going on. So a big shout out to all our listeners out there. It has been a wonderful big feeling having you all over the world listening to our programs. Our servers keep sending us your signals and how you pick up the frequency and listen to us on our programs. It's always wonderful to know you are listening, and we promise to make sure that we won't let you down. And as a King and Queen Radio advocate and representative, I'll always be here and make sure that we do what we do best to keep your days going energetic and positive. So it's one of those things. Please also support. There are some of our artists that that the King and Queen Radio is promoting. King and Queen Radio, remember, it's not a record label, it is a promoting platform for this artist. So if you have any songs out there you want to market with King and Queen Radio, you can send us a message on africanreader@aol.com, and you can also call +1 718 253 7273. And of course, we are also available on all social media platforms. You can send us a message directly there anytime, any day, and then we'll be able to respond. If you have any song to promote on our platform, you have paid promotions you want to promote, it's all good. We'll promote that for you, and then we're open for business. We're open for business as well. And as a multicultural station, we are very versatile. So you'll be able to reach us at any time, and then we'll be able to respond to that.
Well, I'm going to leave the rest of this show up to your lot and DJ Pop Bob. And everybody have a good morning and continue listening to the rest of the show. Do share and like all pages. Visit me, Zena Palin. And you can also listen to KingandQueenRadio.com, King and Queen Radio Ghana, and King and Queen Radio Worldwide. Do visit, share, and like the pages. Enjoy the videos, the YouTube, our TikTok, Brooklyn Station, and all the rest. God bless you and have a good week and a good morning.
Yes. All right. We've come to the last episode of the show, but before we go, we are looking at this platform where we told you that let's have more recap of the news before we go. We told you earlier that Davido finally bows to pressure, and he deleted the controversial video of his new signee, Logos Olori. They actually had a new single called Jayelo, and the video was having some Muslim brothers who were dancing to the Jayelo song, and the Muslim community felt it's a disrespect to Islam, and so his platform was reported, his management was reported on the social media platforms. The whole worldwide community was not happy with Davido because of that. But he apologized and he deleted the video. So famous singer and record label boss owner Davido Adeleke, aka Davido, has finally deleted the short clip from the controversial video of his signee Logos Olori new single Jayelo, which he shared on Twitter yesterday. So that has been, Muslim commentators describe it as offensive, showed a group of men dressed for an ostensibly in a Muslim prayer session suddenly turned into dancing and singing. They accused the singer, who has nearly 14 million followers on microblogging site, of disrespecting Islam by mixing their religious rites and rituals with song and dance. They also called on him to delete the video and apologize, which he did in the early hours of yesterday and today. Unknown infection kills at least 10 children in Kaduna state in Nigeria. Medical authorities in Kaduna state have raised alarm over the outbreak of an unknown respiratory tract infection, which has said to kill 10 children aged between the range of 10 to 13. NGO reaffirms commitment to end HIV and AIDS in Nigeria. The Society for Family Health has reaffirmed its commitment to pave the way for the abolition of AIDS in Nigeria. So these are the ones. And then federal government has urged Nigerians to embrace Operation Feed Yourself. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I have so much feelings about this, and I'm not going to take side, but we would love to hear your opinions, like I said, on this, and I'm ready to read out your opinions. And I've seen people start sending their comments on this. Federal government says there is need for Nigerians to imbibe Operation Feed Yourself. The National Convener of the United Nations Food Systems and Director at the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning believes this will help and end hunger and improve food security in the country. Al Hilal makes world record, 300 million euros bid for Mbappe. Saudi Arabian club Al Hilal have made a record of 300 million bid for France striker Kylian Mbappe. Paris Saint-Germain confirmed. PSG Paris Saint-Germain has put Kylian Mbappe for sale. This is one of the great football players in history, from Lionel Messi to Cristiano Ronaldo to Kylian Mbappe. These guys are worth millions of euros per week. Millions of euros per week, so that's a high value player out there. And of course, Al Hilal makes world record as they are buying him for 300 million euros bid for Mbappe. Don't forget, Mbappe is from Cameroon. We talked about him last time, him and Francis Ngannou. And then these guys are keeping it real in the world of sport. Vice President Shettima departs Abuja to represent Nigeria at two key summit in Rome. Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima has departed Abuja to represent Nigeria at two key international summits in Rome, Italy, and St. Petersburg. So, thousands stranded as Olodo Bridge collapsed in Ibadan. Thousands of passengers have been stranded after the collapse of the Olodo Bridge in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. And on the international scene, British entertainer Vince Hill died at the age of 89. Two protesters burned the Holy Quran in front of Iraq's embassy in Denmark. 2 protesters burned the Holy Quran in front of Iraq's embassy in Denmark. Lagos State Building Control Agency has given traders in Alaba International Market 2 weeks ultimatum to take down illegal structures of the government, or the government will force to do it for them. Lagos warned Alaba International Market traders against illegal structures. Fuel price hike. Lagos workers adopt to shift operations. Lagos workers adopt to shift operations due to fuel price hike. Federal government to fine and prosecute POS operators 1 million naira for illegal pricing. Federal government to fine POS operators 1 million naira for illegal pricing. So, pictorial. Enugu residents protest against sit at home. Enugu residents protest against sit at home. Enugu is a state in Nigeria and is a southeastern state which is owned by the Igbos, and this sit at home protest has been going on for a very long time, and they do this anytime they're fighting against the Nigerian government, or it is like a peaceful demonstration that you don't have to go out of the street. When the government wants to do something, the citizens will say, no, we just want to sit at home, we are not coming out to support the government in anything they do. It's another way of protest. So but the protesters are protesting against sit at home. So what is your take on that? Killing of 103 NSAS protesters in Lagos is one of Buhari's era's hidden atrocities, says Senator Sheikh Husani. And of course, that is that on that. So what is your take? People are beginning to drop comments on our social media platforms. Oh my God, I'm about to start taking on some of this comments. Okay, we'll start from Davido's controversy, video controversy on that. So what is your take on that? People have been dropping comments about this issue of people have been dropping comments about the issue of Davido's new video that has dropped. People have so much reacted. People were saying Olamide has dropped a video, see Mary, see Jesus, see Mary, see Jesus, but nobody said anything. That was a song, and Christians didn't find it disrespectful. And if it was Islam, how would they see? And Olamide was a Muslim and he sang a Christian song, see Mary, see Jesus, and people danced to it. Another one is Ashake. When Ashake is a Muslim guy, remember, he's a Yoruba Muslim. He goes to the church and he prayed. Christians didn't take any. In fact, Christians were dancing to the song and they even considered it nice. So this has come out, has taken a new dimension because so many people have been talking about this issue for a very long time, and so many people have dropped their own comments. Even to the extent that some northern states in Nigeria have banned Davido's music. As I'm talking to you right now, Davido's music is banned in some northern states in Nigeria. Northerners, the way they don't play with religion is with their own belief is different from the way it is in the south, east, and the west and the middle belt. So they have banned his music. Shera Bulu says, my state is not include, please let them carry their 18 state go. I love Davido die. I'm from Jos, and in case you don't know yet. So who them help Davido? Uwegu Marcel says, who them help Davido? Davido don't big, and Davido is international already, so they are wasting their own time if they ban his songs in the north. And Mr. Dick Nice DK says, Aboki they listen to hip hop, Aboki they listen to good music, and that's a question anyway. Back to our roots says, respect waiting. They are only good in fighting for their irrelevant belief. And Temitope Aziz says, I am a Muslim and I'm listening to his music now. Parkwell. So 19 states. I hope Jos is not included, because the last time I checked, Plateau is not a Muslim state. Okay. So that's good. So a lot of people are dropping their comments, and then a lot of people are dropping their listing. So somebody said those 19 Muslim states doesn't listen to Afrobeat music. So how does it affect Davido? They are not even used to Western education. So whether they are listening to or not, it doesn't concern Davido, says Ikenna Ozuzu. And DJ West says, please hold on a second. God has remembered you today, okay? And this one says, Davido is unstoppable. Bola Onaniyan. And more time is against us already. Davido is not even in this video, says Truth.net. Ogwe Priestley says they can't stop moving train, even if they like. Make them 20 state, we will still listen to Davido's music for life. So Linda Chi Ogwa says, good for them. No be Arab country just host them during World Cup. Nigerians never know waiting be their big problem. I beg, made them verso. And it's Sheku Taralino. I say it is wrong to play with another man's fate like that, and Davido will be targeted all around the world. So he needs to apologize and delete the video. That was 10 hours ago. And made the apology, and so he's going to of course he already deleted the video hours ago, since yesterday. So my friend, stop wasting people's time. Davido have the right to sing anything he wants to, says Princess Pine. Name the state, please. Exception of Plateau State, Benue, and others. All right. So this is their opinions. Please, we apologize. We won't be taking much of the comments right now. We hope that you had a great show, and of course, don't worry. Just drop the comments. We'll be able to respond to them, and we appreciate you so much. A big shout out to the King and Queen Radio team here in Africa. A big shout out to the King and Queen Radio team in the States, and of course we're holding it down for the station. We're holding it down for Sister Dubon, and we keep doing the Monday night show over and over until Thy Kingdom come. So we'll make sure that we give you the best of the programs, and make sure you always join us every week, same time, same station. We'll see you again next week, and I'm here. I'll always be here representing the station to give you the best of the programs. If you have any opinion about how you want us to reorganize the Monday night show and add some new features, you can drop us a suggestion on our social media platform, or send us a message on africanradio@aol.com. I'll be able to amend to that. See you once again. We'll see you next week, same time, same station. Good night. Bye for now. Sorry.
Don't let your morning so boring. King and Queen Radio. Tune into your best station. King and Queen Radio. Your best music, best shows. King and Queen Radio. You need a beautiful Monday, yeah. King and Queen Radio. From Monday to Monday. Every Wednesday, 12:20 in the countdown. Every Tuesday to Thursday, King and Queen with arts and music. Your jazz music every day, from 1 a.m. to 3 p.m. Country music every day, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Yeah, Jamaican music every Monday to Saturday. Special live music from Caliban, Africa. Every Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. International reggae dancehall.